Hello and welcome, everybody. Bruce Jones here. And in today's broadcast, I am going to be talking about some of the key questions to ask when you are publishing your book. So I'm Bruce Jones, the author of over 50 books, published books, and we're going to sort of get this series going and sort of take you through the whole process of putting together your book. But I always start this process of sort of self-publishing, and I'm a huge fan of self-publishing, those of you who know me. Doing this all yourself, and you can take you through that whole process. So it's a fun process to do. You get your book published and you get it up there. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. But these are some of the key questions. Now, sometimes these key questions come from the hat I wear when I was designing books or working with clients. I'm putting together books, or I'm consulting with people now and helping them get their books going. I always like to sort of ask some of these questions to kind of frame things. Very often people write their books and they're just in process of writing. They kind of finish the writing and then they kind of figure out some of these questions or have to deal with some of these questions on publishing their books. And they've kind of gone down some paths, and if they'd asked them earlier, it might help. So anyways, let's just sort of dive in and talk about some of the key questions that you're going to do. So one of the first questions I always ask is, what kind of book are you creating? So it makes a big difference in where you go and what you're going to do, depending on the kind of book you're making. So is it a novel? Is it a cookbook, a self-help book, a business book? That'll dictate sort of the size. Does it have pictures? Doesn't it have pictures? Sort of key questions that you kind of want to figure out. If you're going to have pictures, do you have a photographer to get them? Are you taking them yourself? If it's a cookbook that you're doing, are you going to cook all the recipes and take the pictures yourself and put them all together? People sort of sometimes start on this process and they're not quite sure what it is they're creating. So it's a key thing to know about, and also mixed into that when you're creating your book, what other support services and the kinds of places that you're going to be publishing your book on. So sometimes it's helpful. You may not know exactly what you're doing when you're beginning that process, but it's important. Along with doing that is, what program might you be putting your book into? If you're doing a novel, then you can probably just work in a word processor like Word or Google Docs. If you're going to have books be a little more complicated, you're going to need something that has more design capabilities, something like InDesign or Affinity Publishing, even PowerPoint. You'll hear me often talk about PowerPoint. So when it comes to maybe the writing part, you can just write in Word, but when you come to the actual creating of the book, the layout of the book, that's going to help you figure out where you're going to do it and what kind of program you're going to do. So it's important to kind of know that. And if you're looking for help and freelance help, that they know the style and kind of book that you're going to do. A key one that people ask all the time is, are you going to create I always ask this question, are you creating a paperback, a hardcover, an ebook, or a PDF? I'm going to throw a PDF in there because it's becoming more and more important. It's kind of a great way to do things. So there are different kinds of places that publish different kinds of books, and how you're going to make that book is really important. A lot of people think of a book as that sort of rigid thing that's hardcover and it's in the store and that kind of stuff. So that means you're going to have to go to certain kind of places to get that book published and to put that book together. Paperback might be a little easier. A lot of people just do things on their Kindle device or on their iPad. I have an iPad here. Many, many, many books are distributed this way. If I look at my collection of books, most of the books that I have written or put together are paperback books, and people seem to buy that. I also release books as ebooks, and almost nobody buys my ebooks, but everybody buys my paperback books. Other people who are writing novels, romance books, self-help, ebooks like the Kindle or a Kobo or a Nook might be your way to go. And in there also is PDF. And as the book markets change and things sort of change, I have sold a lot of books as PDFs. The same books that I sell in paperback on Amazon, I will also sell as a PDF on sites like Gumroad and other places for download. The advantage of PDF, It costs almost nothing for me to distribute that book, probably almost free. People get it instantly, and people can read it on their devices. So I'll be showing more about that as we move through this series on how to self-publish your book. But all of these are important. Some common things that sort of happen in that, though, is a lot of the images and graphics that you may put in your books often need to be the same across all those platforms. So paperback, hardcover, ebook, PDF. You can add audio on the end of there. I probably should do that. In fact, why don't I just let's just put that on here right now. We're going to just change this because audio is also becoming a very, very viable and audio. Oops, let's just put that on here. Audio, save that. So let's add that on the list because audiobooks are also often much more profitable. And there are some new services like Findaway Voices, which is a great place to be publishing your audiobook because they distribute to everywhere. So so you want to think about what you're going to do. Along with that is whether a book is black and white or it's color, changes the cost quite a bit, changes some of the production issues and the photographs. Let's look a little bit at self-publishing, traditional or hybrid publishing. So these are three areas, and I'm a huge proponent. Anybody that sort of follows me and sees things is self-publishing is my thing, and I've done a lot of self-publishing books. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the benefits of each of these things. So with self-publishing books, actually, let's start with traditional first. Let's do traditional. So traditional books, and people often think of when they're going to publish a book, is that you need to use a traditional publisher, a Simon & Schuster or a Harcourt or one of those kind of places. To get to those publishers, you're going to need an agent. And so you don't just approach publishers with your book. You have to go find an agent, and the agent approaches the publishers. Traditional publishing is a business, and they're going to make money just like anybody else. So unless you are famous, have a big exposure to the world, maybe a celebrity, something like that, have a large platform, you may struggle trying to do that. Now, a lot of people see publishing as just that means, but it can be a long slog to get in there. A lot of people are going to say no to you. You're going to get a lot of rejections from it. It can take a year or more to create your book. Don't just start putting it out immediately. You tend to lose your copyright and control over your content. So that's an important thing, which I will talk more about in this broadcast and other ones. Retaining control over your content means that you can make additional products from that content. So you might have your book, maybe it's a business book, but you might want to add a workbook to it. You might want to turn it into a podcast. You might want to do a video thing with it, all that kind of stuff. And so you may be limited in that. I love the repurposing thing, turning your books into other products. So traditional publishing isn't always such a fan of that. And you're mostly going to have to handle the marketing yourself. So one of the big aha moments that comes to anybody who publishes a book is it's hard to write the book and get it up on Amazon, but the real work starts with marketing your book. So traditionally, especially if you're small, you're not going to be public. You're not going to be marketing. They're not going to be marketing your book. You're going to be marketing your book. So that's something to think about. Self-publishing. What do I love about self-publishing? No one can say no. You can get your book published. No one's going to stop you. There are lots of places to put it. You just have to create the book. You can do it even in a Word document. That's all you need to do, and your book is published. So you can just get it up on KDP, which I'll show you in a moment. So that's a key thing. If you want to publish, you can do it. It's fast to market. You can get to your market quickly. Your book can be published, and you don't have to wait a year. It's one of the great things about it. You can just sort of create your book, run it through to your formatting on the book, and upload it onto KDP, and you are a published author, and you can start your marketing. Control of your content. To me, this is a super important one. If you may have seen me do some other examples of this, but I created a music book, a book of chords, and then turned that into posters and turned it into other books and turned it into t-shirts and turned it into all kinds of things. So you don't always make as much money from the original book, but you might make way more on the ancillary and additional products. If you have questions, just drop them in um, the comments section. I'll get to them at the end of the broadcast or in a follow-up broadcast. You're free to publish. You're basically free to publish. Depending on your skill level, it costs you almost nothing to publish your book. If you have a Word document or Google Docs access on your computer, you can write your book and publish that, and that will work. And it costs you basically nothing to do it. There are great templates that you can get off of Canva, make your own. There's a cover creator in KDP. So you can spend zero, or you can also spend more money and hire people and help you to do things. But your cost to get your book published is really cheap. You are going to market your book yourself, but you're going to do this if you have a traditional publisher. So it's one of the things that when you start writing your book, you basically want to start marketing your book that day. By marketing, I mean building your platform. So your platform are your friends and family, your coworkers, your social media connections, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, maybe your customers. If you're a business, making a book for a business is a great thing to do, kind of support and sell it at the counter. If you have a store, maybe there are recipes that go with your restaurant or your food store, or maybe you're a dog trainer and you can put a companion book, make a little extra money on it. But all of that stuff, all those people that buy your thing, maybe you're a speaker, and the people that come to your events, you want to capture those names, and those all become part of your platform. And they're the people, the basic core group that you're going to launch your book to and to help you buy your book. So that's super important. Get that going. It takes a long time to build that community, build those people. That's part of your marketing. And then after that, you're using all the tools. This is StreamYard that I'm talking through, that's going through Facebook. It's also broadcasting to YouTube. I'm putting it in a variety of places. So this is marketing. And if you want to pick up my book, there's a link above or below. There's my PDF book that goes with this, the How to Sell Your Book. It's not done yet. It's a new version of my previous book. I'm updating it and fixing things that have changed in it. But there's a link, and you can go get that book, and you'll see it available. So all that'll be set up very shortly. So this is marketing my book, doing things, giving information. So those are all, that kind of stuff. And the royalties are higher. You can make more money. So traditional publishing, you might be making 70 cents a dollar per book. With this kind of publishing, self-publishing, you can make as much actually as you want, depending what you're doing with it. So you might make on Amazon, I might make $2.50 to $3.50. But if I'm selling it independently to other, like on Gumroad or someplace, I might add some support videos, some bonus material. You can charge basically whatever you want. So the third one that's on this is hybrid publishing. It kind of combines the two of them. So there are different versions of hybrid publishing, but basically the hybrid publisher is somebody who helps you do all these things, but you retain your rights. So there are lots of them out there. They charge, the prices range maybe from $5,000 to $75,000 and everything in between, but they'll do different services for you. So not only kind of lay the book out, but also help you with the book launch, help you give different versions of the book, help you with the marketing. It's all kind of packaged, and there are different levels and supports and add-ons as you can do. But there's a lot of hybrid publishers out there. So it's also a nice way to go if you have the money and you don't have the time and or the knowledge to put this together, but you want to sort of control the process. So friends of mine have used hybrid publishing a lot, and it's been very successful for them. I'm a graphic designer, so I have all the tools that I'm using, but if I didn't, it might be a great way to go. Let's talk a little bit about where am I going to publish. So everybody sort of sees that their book's going to go out there into the world. It's going to be published by like a big traditional national publisher. But that's not necessarily the case anymore. We have lots of options that we can go to. And what does publishing really mean? So for self-publishing, people like me, the main place that we're going to go is Amazon, because through their KDP Publishing, KDP Direct Publishing platform, it's free to upload. It's free to be on the platform. They're publishing paperback, eBook, and now they're doing hardcover. And once you load your files up, an interior file, an exterior file, a cover, it processes it, and then they move them over to Amazon. And now they're on Amazon's platform, and anybody can buy them, and they will print them on demand. We'll talk about that in a moment. So that's sort of the main place that people go with their books. It's free to be there. It's pretty much the world's most trusted platform for buying things. You cover all the English-speaking countries. So United States, Canada, Britain, Australia, South Africa, easily, which is a dominant part of the market with print books. And now with their ebooks, it's kind of everywhere. It's Japan and Italy and everywhere. And even if you're in Europe, you can buy the physical books. You kind of run them through England, but you pretty much have as much global coverage as you're going to need by using Amazon. So it goes. Let me just show you where it goes, and we'll take this down here for a second. This is the KDP Direct, Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. You'll hear people talking about it. This is the site. You can just Google Kindle Direct Publishing or KDP, and you'll end up here on Amazon's KDP platform. You set up a free account, and you can just sign in. And when you sign in, you will be taken to a dashboard such as this. And you can see just some of my books here. And you just up here at the top, you'll just upload your ebook, you'll upload your paperback, and their new hardcover. So it's a pretty easy platform and pretty good thing to kind of figure out. There are other places though, and Amazon has just recently added hardcover. But before they had added hardcover, if you wanted a hardcover book, you needed to go to a company called Ingram. So one of the key questions I always ask people when they're talking about publishing is, do you want to be just online, or do you want to be just in bookstores? Or you want to be sort of both online and in bookstores? And if people had said bookstores, then the direction I would send them is to Ingram Spark. So Ingram Spark is, let's see if I can get that up here. Ingram Spark is part of Ingram, and it is the largest. Let me just bring this up here so you can see it. Let's get this here. So Ingram Spark is part of Ingram, which is the world's largest bookstore distributor. And I think we'll just do this. Whoops. And they sell all over the world. They have something like 39,000. Let's get this the right place here. 39,000 outlets. Should have this one up. Here. I'll do this right here. Let's see if we can get this to go here. All right, here we go this way. This looks good. So Ingram Spark is part of Ingram, and it's the world's largest. There we go. Ingram's the world's largest bookstore distributor. Book distributor is 39,000 outlets around the world, and they will take paperback, hardcover, ebook, and distribute everywhere. It's pretty much the same as creating a book and uploading it on KDP. It's basically the same files. In fact, I often use the same files. The cover is a little bit different, but this will give you distribution into the whole book world and gift store world. So it's a great place to go. There are a few fees. Amazon's free. Ingram has a fee in it, but not very much. And you have distribution everywhere. So if bookstores is part of your game plan, then that's the place that you want to look. If you're doing just ebooks, then there's some other options. So people use, and all of these places are constantly changing. In fact, there was just a big change recently, but this Draft to Digital and Smashwords were two places that people went to publish their books for ebooks, and they distribute far and wide. And I think Draft to Digital now has paperback, and Draft to Digital and Smashwords are combining. So two of the larger independent ebook distributors that distribute not only just to Amazon, but distribute to all the other platforms that are out there. And there's something like 80 platforms. They distribute to all of those places. So that's a place to look at for ebooks. And the two biggies have just combined. So an important important thing to look at. Other places that you want to look at, Blurb. I have used Blurb for doing picture books and other books. They do a great job with color. Lulu is another print-on-demand site that has a variety of covers. So if you want spiral bound covers or saddle stitch covers or different kinds of things and different setups, Lulu is a place to look at. So there's quite a lot. Barnes & Noble is also one. Barnes & Noble, the bookstore, also has a print division, so you can put books there. And there's a lot of cross things that go on between all these companies, but they're all places to look at for self-publishers who are going out there. So let's just talk a little bit about Kindle, and then we'll wrap this up for today. But Kindle, or KDP, Kindle Print on Demand, Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP is the major player in the market. So they are a division of Amazon, and they take care of your publishing for ebook and print, paperback and hardcover. They also are the company that makes the readers, and the readers can be independent readers, or they can show up on iPads or on your phone or wherever. That's the division that does that. So very easy company to deal with, very easy to upload all your books. But it's sort of the place to be. They have done a lot of work lately in terms of support materials. So if you go to, if I can show you where to look for this. If you don't even need to be signed up to do this, but if you come into here, and let's just pull this out of the way for a second, and you go right up here to the help, right here, you can get a lot of information. They really put a lot of effort here. You get a great help section on how to pull all this together. So you can learn about paperback books and hardcover books and ebooks and all that kind of stuff, tools and resources. So if you come in here to hardcover, you'll see all kinds of great information on how to pull all this kind of stuff together. There's tools and resources, all the process, how it works. It's a great place, and I encourage you to go there and check that out for just information as you begin this process, because that's probably where you're going to go and get yourself started. Now, Kindle and all of the self-help that make physical books, real actual physical books, use a thing called print on demand. So this is always a thing that kind of, until you're into it and understand it, kind of people are not that familiar with it. So print on demand means that you upload a file, a PDF file generally, but it can be also KPF files for the Kindle books. If it's a print book, it's going to be a PDF that's going to be uploaded, the interior and a cover. And when somebody orders a book on Amazon, that single book then is printed and shipped. So think of it as real high quality photocopying is what they're doing. So they have the technology to be able to print one copy of a book, black and white or color, and package it and ship it for that $9.95 price or $19.95 price that you are ordering your book at. It allows you as a author or self-publisher like myself to not have to have any inventory. So I don't need to print anything. I don't need to ship anything. All I need to do is write my books, format my books, upload them to KDP, and then market my books, and then move on to the next book. So I don't have to go through all this process of going to the post office or UPS or shipping or doing anything. It's all done with print on demand. The book is stored in their computer, and just go from there. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the most amazing things that we can create books and ship them all around the world and do all kinds of things, and we don't have to touch anything, have any control over everything. So that's the print on demand. That's the main feature of all of the publishing places. Ingram, Barnes & Noble, Lulu's, the Amazons, they all use print on demand. So it's just the best thing. So, all right. So that kind of covers some of the main questions that people often ask me when they're sort of beginning the process. I'll be doing some more broadcasts on this, and then we're going to be moving into laying out some actual books and taking you through that process. There's a link, as I said, above or below or somewhere around here that will get you you can download my How to Self-Publish Your Book. Create, publish, and sell it. It's an updated version of my Publishing Secrets book, and you can get hold of that. and follow along, and hope to see you. Any comments, put questions, put them in the comments section, whatever platform you're on, and I'll get back to you and answer all that stuff. All right. See you soon, and we will talk in the next broadcast. All right. Bye-bye. Okay.